You may better know the Xiaoyi for great yet affordable action cameras, as we have reviewed them before. This time around we're taking a look at the Yi M1 mirrorless camera, which costs just below $400, but it brings a lot of premium features. My name is Linus, and here's the full review. The camera comes in quite a premium box where all the items are packed neatly. Actually, my review unit came with 2 lenses, and this kit is more expensive as it costs over $500. Speaking of those lenses, the first one is 12 to 40mm zoom lens with variable 3.5 to 5.6 aperture. The second one I have is the 42.5mm prime lens with a bright f1.8 aperture for that great shallow depth of field and better low light performance. Also, you can switch to the macro mode for sharper close-up images. Both lenses are made of quality plastic and metal, and they do not feel cheap at all. We also have some instruction manuals and warranty cards, USB cable and charging brick, lens cleaning cloth, and last but not least, a high-quality leather strap. Once I first took the camera out of the box, my initial impressions were that the camera was so compact. Honestly, it's much more compact and lightweight than the Sony A63 or A6500 or Panasonic G7 cameras I work with. Although the camera does not sport an alloy body, it is very well made and sturdy. One of the key selling points is a premium 20-megapixel Sony IMX269 Micro Four Thirds sensor, which is usually used in a lot more expensive cameras. The sensor has 81 focusing points, but unfortunately it only has the contrast detection autofocus, while more expensive cameras use hybrid focusing technologies. Another bad thing is that there is no optical image stabilization neither in the camera body nor in the supplied lenses. A great thing is that there is a huge variety of lenses, and my 14 to 140mm Panasonic lens that have the built-in optical image stabilization work just fine. Also, the M1 camera does not have so many buttons as traditional Micro Four Thirds cameras, as most of the settings can be adjusted using a touchscreen. Still, we have 2 dials that allow you to switch from one mode to another and tweak some settings. We have the traditional modes like auto, aperture or shutter priority, panorama or manual mode. One of the more interesting is the super professional mode, which offers quite a few templates that help you take some professional looking portrait pictures. We also have a power button, 2-stage shutter key, 2 mics and a hot shoe mount on the top. As for connectivity, there is a micro USB port for charging, micro HDMI port, and the SD card slot. Also, the camera has the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, but more on those features later on. Unfortunately, there is neither mic input nor the headset jack for audio monitoring. On the bottom, there is a tripod mount and a replaceable 900 mAh battery. Most of the camera settings can be adjusted using 3 inches touchscreen display, which may not be as good as my Panasonic's G7 screen, but it is sharp and bright enough for both indoor and outdoor use. Unfortunately, I could not test it under direct sunlight. My biggest frustration about the display is that it does not articulate, so if you're a one-man crew like me, consider buying an external monitor. The Yi M1 camera is designed with the ease of use in mind. You can navigate through the menus by simply swiping from left to right, as there are only 2 buttons on the front, playback and function. You can adjust most of the basic settings like ISO, white balance, focus mode, resolution, and so on. One of the cool features is the touch shooting mode, where you can simply tap on the screen and the camera takes the picture. You can also connect the camera to your smartphone using the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, you can't really do much within the app, and I presume it is still in the beta stage. It's great that you can view and download the images you took, download different master guide templates, or easily upgrade the firmware of the camera, but I miss some essential features like live preview or camera remote control. Also, the camera disconnected from the phone a few times without any reason. Hopefully, we'll see some huge improvements with the future software updates. I have to admit that I am more of a video shooter than a photographer, but I've taken quite a few product shots over the years. Still, I will focus more on the video side of things since I shoot videos every single day for years now. In this section, I will show you just a few camera samples, but you will see them all at the end of the video. Also, make sure to check out the video description to download the original camera samples. First of all, let's check out the 12 to 40mm lens. The picture quality is pretty good as the camera has a powerful Sony sensor after all. First of all, the colors look very natural. Also, there is quite a bit of detail and sharpness in most of the shots. Well, the quality decreases in low light as more noise kicks in, but even in the auto mode, you can achieve some great results. If you master the manual mode, I'm sure you will make the best of the powerful Sony sensor. When it comes to the 4K video, well, if you shoot using a tripod and the fluid head like I did, the quality of footage is very good, yet not on par with slightly more expensive cameras like Panasonic G7 I compared with. Still, I really love what I see for such a cheap camera. The footage is sharp, detailed, and the colors look nice. The sound recording quality is pretty good too.
And I put the camera on the tripod and I'm just panning just to see how the image quality is. When the camera is stable, there is no movement involved. So here it is. So here's another video test of the Xiaoyi M1 mirrorless camera. I'm shooting in low light. It's really dark, but I just turned all the lights on available in the yard.
When it comes to the low light video, there is quite a lot of noise and the level of detail is pretty low. Now let's talk about the shortcomings. The lack of optical image stabilization is quite visible in the handheld video. The footage just looks shaky.
Zoom lens, 3.5 to 5.6. So it's great that you can use the convenience of the zoom.
Another con is the continuous autofocus, which is not reliable since the camera only utilizes contrast detection autofocus system. Well, sometimes it works very well, but other times it is simply too slow. In addition, I've noticed quite a few video artifacts when using zoom while recording a video. Alright, so let's see how different the 42.5mm prime lens are. First of all, you should know that there is no zoom. Also, you can switch to the macro mode for sharper close-up images. I have to say that I really like these lenses. The pictures come out very sharp and detailed, and they have a very nice shallow depth of field. Also, the low light performance is a lot better than using the zoom lens. Overall, you can achieve some great results with these lenses, well, if you know what you're doing. When it comes to the 4K video, I really love these lenses for the close-up product shots as this is my main style of shooting. The video comes out very sharp and detailed and that bokeh effect is just beautiful. You can also achieve some decent results in low light, which is awesome for such a cheap camera. However, there are two major shortcomings when it comes to shooting video on this camera using either lens. First of all, there is no dedicated video mode, meaning that you enter the video mode by simply clicking the record button. Secondly, once you frame your shot and click the record button, the crop factor is so huge that it may ruin quite a few shots before you get used to that. Finally, the biggest frustration for me as a video shooter is that there are no manual controls for video, as everything has been done automatically by the camera. The only things you can control is the focus mode and the resolution. Other things like ISO, white balance, shutter speed, etc. can be applied only for the picture taking modes. Well, this shows the entry-level nature of this camera. The technology claims that you can take up to 380 images per charge using the 900 mAh battery. Well, my usage involved taking some pictures, shooting quite a lot of 4K videos, and navigating through the menus. I got about 2 hours of battery life, which is a decent result for such a compact camera. After spending a good amount of time testing the EM1 mirrorless camera, I can say that it is a pretty good budget device for starters or for those who want to achieve great image quality without breaking the bank, but don't mind a few shortcomings. The camera is very light and compact, and it uses a premium 20 megapixel Sony sensor with a huge variety of micro four thirds lens options. Speaking of those lenses, the included E lens are very good for the price. Also, the image and video quality are great in most of the cases, and you simply can't ask more at this price point. In addition, the user interface is quite intuitive and it makes the camera easy to use. Finally, the battery life is pretty good. On the other hand, the EM1 camera has quite a few shortcomings that you have to consider. First of all, there is no optical image stabilization, neither in the body nor in the lenses, so if you shoot a lot of handheld video or take lots of low-light pictures, consider buying the optically stabilized lens. Also, the continuous autofocus can be slow at times, but I believe this feature can be improved with the future software upgrades. Speaking of the upgrades, I hope that we will see the upgraded app, as right now it seems like it is still in the beta version. Another thing that may be actually a deal breaker for some is the lack of articulating display, since you cannot monitor yourself. Also, the camera lacks the mic input, and last but not least, there are no manual controls in the video recording mode. All in all, the EM1 mirrorless camera brings a lot of features, and it has a good image quality, and we may see its full potential with some future firmware upgrades. However, you have to consider if the previously mentioned shortcomings are important to you or not. It was Linus, thanks for watching, and I'm leaving you with more camera samples that you can also download using the link in the video description. See you soon.